Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Armchair Armdrager podcast. This is episode number 28. As always, I am your host, Ben Hersick, and it's been a bit of a quiet week in pro wrestling. There was Full Gear I have from AEW. I have yet to watch it due to school, pretty much is the main reason. I haven't had time because school takes priority. So I'll be watching that at some point. I've heard good things, I've heard okay things. I'm not going in expecting a world beater. I'm not going in expecting the worst show of all time. But we'll see. World Tag League is coming up, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that. War Games is starting to take shape, and I'm curious about some stuff. But honestly, it's been a pretty quiet time in pro wrestling. It's a whole lot of nothing going on right now. But as always, as these podcasts always start out, my social media mentions... you can follow myself on Twitter at ChurrosSoldier. I finally fixed the stupid little thing in my Twitter handle, and I'm very happy that I finally did it because I don't look stupid anymore with it. So yeah, I'm over on Twitter at ChurrosSoldier. You can follow this podcast, the podcast Armchair. You can follow All Things Combat, where I write about professional wrestling. We also cover boxing and MMA over at Things Combat on Twitter. We have weekly wrestling reviews. We have Raw, AEW, and SmackDown. I would write NXT reviews, but I don't have that much time of a turnaround with school. So who knows? Maybe if we can find somebody else who feels like writing for us, they could do NXT reviews. We have a World Tag League article breaking down and predicting World Tag League, written by me, coming out here before Monday, hopefully Saturday or maybe Sunday at the latest. What else do we have coming up soon? We're starting to work on some stuff for next year. We have ideas cooking in a pot, seeing what'll work, what won't work. Who knows? When we know, and when I know, you'll all know. What else have I been up to? All right, you can follow The Cauldron at CSU Cauldron. I am the sports editor over there. Our online issue finally went up after a delay due to some stuff you may or may not have seen on Twitter from us. I'll have links to those in the description. I wrote about men's amateur wrestling, which I used to do for 5 years, So that was a lot of fun. Really fun to sit down with Coach Moore and some of the guys and get to talk to them. So that stuff will all be linked in the description below. Also will be the All Things Combat merch store where we have Christmas merch available now. You can go out, you can buy an All Things Christmas. I know we have a hoodie and a sweatshirt. We might have a t-shirt. We have hats, like winter caps or winter hats. So all that stuff is available on our Spreadshirt, which will be linked in the description below. So let's start with World Tag League. Now, I've said this a couple times, and it's very clear. New Japan really needs to work on their tag division. Then again, you can say that about a lot of the wrestling world. So the main reason is, right now you look at New Japan's tag team scene, there's Guerrillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, Fit Juice and Juice Robinson and David Finlay, what's the name? Great Bash Heel in Toby Makabe and Tomoaki Honma. And they're very rarely there. Ten Koji in Hiroyoshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima. Now, that's only 4 teams. And GOD have held on to these titles since they lost them at Wrestle Kingdom to Evil and Sonata, and they won them back shortly after. They're on like a 250-day reign because there's no legitimate threats. There's no real challenges. What this World Tag League needs to do is form actual teams and then have those teams be used going forward to be challengers to Tama Tonga and Tangaloa. There's teams that could work there in that situation. Anybody they put Mikey Nichols with, the former Nick Miller of NXT, Anybody you put him with, that'll be fine, and that can work together. I would have loved to have seen Mikey Nichols and Yoshihashi preferably, because Yoshihashi doesn't really have much to do right now. So maybe something along those lines. Maybe I don't mind the team of Ishii and Yoshihashi. I don't mind Mikey Nichols and Jeff Cobb. My issue is Cobb is technically not a New Japan guy. He's under contract with Ring of Honor. Although how long that lasts after the whole Joey Mercury situation that I didn't even touch on last week, who knows how long certain people are even with that company anymore. Some guys might stick it out. Jay Lethal may stick it out. Who else? Matt Taven may. Roosh right now is world champion. Could. I'm very curious because a lot of contracts are coming up here soon. And not WWE wise, because like for example, Sin Cara just tried to get his release and he's still under contract for 3 years. So, but like Marty Scurll's name keeps popping up. Roosh is probably a free agent. When's Jeff Cobb's deal up? When's Jay Lethal's deal up? These guys who were big names that aren't signed anywhere, who really knows where they're going to end up? New Japan could maybe steal one or two, but could they get Marty Scurll away from the Elite or possibly WWE where it looks like he has friends? Could all of this be a ruse and Ring of Honor comes back to be the third big thing? And someone made this comparison, I don't remember who it was on Twitter, and I feel bad about that. But it was WWE is WWF, obviously. AEW is WCW. And Impact Wrestling is ECW. That's 3 of the 4 big promotions in America. Where does Ring of Honor fall into that category? Are they like the local indie show that you don't really know about? Because they have a lot of talented wrestlers there, don't get me wrong. But they're nowhere near as talked about as, you know, all the guys in WWE and AEW. Even Impact to an extent with Sami Callihan. Tessa Blanchard's in there. Ken Shamrock, Joey Ryan's in that group too. There are guys from that company that get talked about a lot. And the Ring of Honor has the talent to hang with those guys, but can they really? It's something we're going to have to wait and see on. Now, that's that. That's World Tag League, and I guess Ring of Honor touched on. But also, I'm not going to make a prediction for World Tag League. If I do, I'll leave it in the description. It'll be in Japanese again. Try and figure out who I'm talking about as the winners. Maybe it'll be in a different language. Who knows? Maybe I'll just pick a different language every time. What else did I say in the intro? I didn't watch Full Gear yet. Oh, War Games and Survivor Series are starting to take shape. So, I will say I do like the idea that they've gone into Survivor Series with Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. My fear was this was going to just be a lot of triple threats and weird-looking teams. Now I look at it with a different lens on it. Yes, we're getting triple threats like the U.S. champion in AJ Styles, the Intercontinental champion in Shinsuke Nakamura, and the North American champion in Roderick Strong. Also, I want to point out Shinsuke Nakamura made the joke first. Shinsuke is the king of strong style. He's facing Roderick Strong and AJ Styles. Shinsuke made the joke first. It's not me making this joke. Shinsuke takes full credit for that one. But we're also getting, the triple threat for the women's division, which I am super excited about. Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler, and Bayley. Baszler and Becky had a backstage bit where you watch it, and it's like a build to a WrestleMania match. Bayley's attack on Baszler last night on NXT was a fantastic way to end the show. And it's starting to click, and you're starting to see things are working in NXT, and this is really helping them a lot. We still have the question of who's going to be on Team NXT for the women's match. It's probably going to be the winning team at War Games, probably Rhea Ripley's team because there's 5 there already. Ripley, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae. And 4 of them could take a pinfall and not really be hurt. Rhea has to come out looking strong disqualification, count out, controversial pinfall with her foot under the rope. I don't know. Something along those lines I can kind of see happening. But who really knows what happens there? I'm very curious to see it. Who else? Oh, the men's team. The men's team's a little weird because you have... It's probably going to be Team Ciampa, I'm assuming. With Ciampa... Well, even... Oh, that could work then. Because originally it was going to be... My thought for War Games was going to be Ciampa, Lee... Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Dominik Dijakovic, and a fifth person to be named later. Well, now, say Team Ciampa wins, because I think that's the direction they're going. I could be completely wrong for all I know, but say that's the direction they are going. We get Team NXT, we have Team Raw, which is Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Ricochet, Kevin Owens, and Drew McIntyre. Team SmackDown, which is Roman Reigns, King Corbin, Chad Gable, excuse me, I'm not calling him that stupid name. Fourth person I'm forgetting and I feel bad about, so I'm gonna look it up. Where is Wikipedia? Go faster. Where is the main roster pay-per-view page? Seriously, where is it? Oh my god, is it? Do I not have... How do I have it? Oh wait, no, there it is. How do I have a tab for everything else, but not the main roster page? I'll just click that and then go here. There it is. Okay, so like I said, Team Raw, you have Rollins, McIntyre, Owens, Orton, Ricochet. That's who it was. Team SmackDown is Roman Reigns, Mustafa Ali, he got his first name back, Braun Strowman, King Corbin, and Chad Gable versus Team NXT. Team NXT is probably going to be, now that I think about it, Tommaso Ciampa, Dominik Dijakovic, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, and that fifth person is still a question mark. You could go the fourth man from War Games for Team Ciampa that I'm going to get to here in a little bit. But it could also be the NXT champion because Bray Wyatt's going to be busy facing Daniel Bryan, presumably. Or even a triple threat with Miz. And Miz takes the fall, keeping Bryan stronger, something along those lines. So there could be that. But you have a champion on the show who's not busy. You have a champion who's currently doing nothing. Adam Cole. And then if, like, say it comes down to this. It comes down to the men's 5-on-5-on-5. If it comes down to that, and you have Adam Cole and Tommaso Ciampa on the same team, Cole could turn on Ciampa, or Ciampa could turn on Cole to cost Team NXT the win. And say the NXT title means more. But with Worlds Collide taking over for Royal Rumble weekend's takeover show, I would rather see a how do I want to say this? I would rather see this feud continue to build and continue to be developed. So maybe you don't have Cole in that team. Also, I forgot to mention we have the tag team match, which could still be changed. New Day defends the SmackDown tag team titles tonight when this episode comes out, on SmackDown against the Revival. We could still possibly see Viking Raiders, Undisputed Era, specifically Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and Revival all share the same ring. Maybe WWE does something good for them. Who knows? After the pose they pulled on the European tour, where they posed like the Young Bucks, I doubt it. But I've been wrong before, thankfully. Also, right now the women's match is a little interesting. All we have are 4 of the 5 members of Team SmackDown. Team Raw has nobody. Team NXT has nobody. Like I said, Team NXT is probably going to be the winning War Games team or Team Ripley plus Dakota Kai. Raw is kind of a question mark. You can kind of guess 4 of them: Charlotte, Natalya, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Those 4 feel pretty safe picks. But there's a 5th spot there. Who takes that 5th spot? You look at the Raw women's roster, which I'm scrolling to right now. Your options left: you can't have Becky Lynch because she's busy. Billie Kay, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Nia Jax, who's currently injured, but could be back soon. Peyton Royce, Ruby Riott, who's also injured but has been teasing a return, at least a little bit on Instagram, I believe. Sarah Logan and Zelina Vega. Right now, Andrade's doing nothing, so who knows with him. Zelina could work, maybe, because she's looked pretty good these past couple weeks. Or 2 weeks ago when her and Andrade took on Sin Cara and Catalina. I believe that's supposed to be her name. I don't know, internet. Oh, her actual name is Catalina, but according to Wikipedia, her name was Carolina. God, WWE are dumb. Of the available wrestlers, if she's 100%, and I said this to my coworker, Ruby Riott, and I want to see Ruby get a push to be a main star because she is so underrated. And in that Raw women's division, there's no real challenger for Becky. I don't think Charlotte's winning the Rumble. My money right now is on a healthy Sasha Banks to win the Rumble and face Bayley at Mania. We'll see what happens there. But Becky still needs a match. I really hope it's not Ronda Rousey, because I do not want to see Ronda Rousey anywhere near my WWE TV for a long time to come. But somebody like Ruby Riott, give her a shot. Who knows what happens? Maybe Naomi. Who knows? Maybe Naomi's ready to come back. Maybe we see her on SmackDown, though, for all I know. Because technically, she never got drafted. She never got assigned. So her, excuse me, her and the Usos, and Ruby Riott, for that matter, are all technically free agents. Who knows? But if I had to make a pick for the final spot on the Raw Women's Division, from non-injured wrestlers just from the non-injured wrestlers, it would be Liv Morgan. They've been teasing this for a while. They haven't really showed like vignettes or anything, but Liv was the last pick in the draft. She was the last actual person picked. Well, on TV at least. So maybe they give her a shot. Maybe this is where they debut the new character. Big stage, perfect time. Who knows? Who really knows? But we'll see. Survivor Series, I'm actually really starting to get into and dig Survivor Series. So we'll have to wait and see on that. And there's still the question of, you have these 5-on-5s, yes. You have, let's see, you have the women's triple threat, you have the tag team triple threat, you have 2 5-on-5s, and you have the mid-card triple threat. That's 5. You have Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Raw. You have to add 2 more, like, brand rival stuff. 2 more random triple threats. I could be down with that. Maybe Adam Cole's in one. I don't know. We'll see. We still have a couple weeks. That's a lie. We have a week roughly. We have 2 SmackDowns, 1 Raw, and 1 NXT. 1 NXT for the entire Team NXT to be named for both the men and women. Maybe we'll wait till day of for that. And there's still, for War Games, there's still the question mark of who will be that 5th person, or that 4th person on Team Ciampa. And slowly you can kind of see the takeover card taking shape. You have the feud that's been going on for a little while now between Killian Dane, Pete Dunne, and Damian Priest. You get Dane on his first takeover since WrestleMania weekend before Sanity was called up. Pete Dunne back on Takeover for the NXT USA Takeover for the first time since was it Takeover? No, it was Takeover New York. It was the match with Walter. That's what it was. It would be his first match since Takeover New York, and you have Damian Priest making his Takeover debut. It looks like we might possibly get Lio Rush versus Angel Garza in a rematch since Garza's foot was on the rope or under the rope or whatever you want to word it as last week in the opener of the show. So you have something like that, and you have both guys making their Takeover debuts. You have... What else do we have? You have Finn Balor on his first Takeover since I don't even remember. You have Matt Riddle, who's been on a couple Takeovers in a row. And then you have the 2 War Games matches where this will be Tegan Nox's first Takeover. This will be Kaylee Ray's first American NXT Takeover. You have Mia Yim, who's only on her second Takeover. Candice LeRae on her second Takeover. Rhea Ripley on her first NXT USA Takeover. Dijakovic and Keith Lee are on their first Takeovers. Tommaso Ciampa's first Takeover back from injury. And I do want to point this out too. This is NXT working at its finest. We know some stars are going to get the call over to Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania. I have a couple in mind, maybe 1 or 2 surprise ones, possibly, that I don't really want to see, but I could see happening. So you have the usuals. You have Undisputed Era. You have Tommaso Ciampa. Matt Riddle's on there now. Finn Balor. You have the usuals that you used to. Shayna Baszler for another one. But now you're starting to see the next crop of the NXT talent. Damian Priest, Killian Dane, Pete Dunne, Lio Rush, Angel Garza, Tegan Nox, Mia Yim, Io Shirai. You're getting Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic. And the fourth member, who I think the fourth member is going to be at least, of Team Ciampa. You have all these guys on their first few takeovers. This is their first or second takeovers. This is how well the NXT system works. Yes, you see people make the move up to the main roster. Air quotes around move up to the main roster. But you also have this huge crop of talent that you can just be like, oh, well, we lose Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, just throwing names out there right now, to be fair. We lose Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream, and Shayna Baszler, and just for the hell of it, Io Shirai to the main roster. We lost those 5. Oh, well. Isaiah Scott, now you step up. Dominic Dijakovic, you step up. Who else is a big name in that PC right now? Austin Theory, you step up. Chelsea Green, Deonna Purrazzo. You guys go out there now. This is how NXT is going to succeed and thrive no matter what. They're going to have this pool of talent that they can pick from. And they can say, oh, we lost these guys. Now it's your turn. Go fill those spots. Go show the world why we signed you. And make them care. That is something I am excited to see. There's so much talent in that PC. And I'd argue there's so much talent in that Performance Center that maybe some of them should move over to NXT UK. Mainly like Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo. Maybe Santana Garrett too. Because that NXT UK Women's Division's, it's not bad, but there's not really a lot there. Kaylee Ray's already beaten quite a few of them. I like that they're building up Zia Brookside there. Viper's always going to be a threat. Ginny's really cool. I used to hate Ginny, and now I'm starting to become a fan. Jazzy Gabbert's going to be a fun watch when she gets going. But there's so much talent here. And like you look at it, oh, there's another name, Bronson Reed. You put him possibly in a stable with Brandon Burke and Shane Thorne. I think they have another Australian or New Zealander on that list, or in that locker room, that I can't remember his name. Daniel Viditt. That's his name. It's Daniel Viditt. You put those 4 together, that could be a very interesting stable. You're going to lose, and I'll spoil this right now, I think Undisputed Era goes up after WrestleMania. I think they go to, God, where do they even fit in? I personally, that's a tough one. Because you do have Fish and O'Reilly who have like actual combat sport experience, but you have Cole and Strong who are just fantastic pro wrestlers. Put them on USA. Keep them on USA. Put them on Raw, and go from there. Because Paul Heyman loves the young guys. Yes, Fish, O'Reilly, and Fish is not young, but O'Reilly's still relatively young. Cole's relatively young, and so is Roddy. Those guys, you put those guys there, millions of dollars. There you go. So I think Undisputed Era goes up. So now that there's a huge hole in the stable front of NXT. Yeah, you have Forgotten Sons, but nobody really knows much about them yet. So you put in a group of 4, Bronson Reed, Daniel Viditt, Brandon Verk, and Shane Thorne. You put those guys in there and tell them, we lost Undisputed Era, maybe one of the best stables in modern day pro wrestling. Now it's your guys' turn. Prove to us why we should keep you together as a stable. Prove why you should be the group to succeed Undisputed Era. Show us why we signed you. And it looks like they're going to have Robbie E as a manager, which is fair because I've not heard one of them cut a promo. I'm a fan of Jonah Rock, but I can't name one Jonah Rock promo. But that's a long... I get sidetracked so easily talking about pro wrestling. You've probably learned that. It's 28 episodes in. But the 4th member, and this is kind of what I wanted to end on anyway. There's a 4th member now or 4th slot available for Team Ciampa since Matt Riddle is not able to pull double duty for whatever reason, since Riddle's facing Balor. So, who gets that spot? Who steps up to the plate and says, I want a shot. Put me in to this match and let me prove to you that I belong in the big time. I've gone back and looked at some results these past few weeks. One name keeps popping up. One name has had impressive matches 3 straight weeks. And he pushed Roderick Strong to the limit before we even knew who he was. And that's Isaiah Swerve Scott. I told one of my coworkers, I've been a fan of Swerve's since he was Shane Strickland. This guy can go. It doesn't matter what his name is. He goes out there, he's going to put on a show, and you're going to watch and pay attention. Because there's something about Swerve. He has that unteachable X factor. That is something that you can't pass up. This is somebody who is going to be a big deal. Is he going to eventually be a WWE champion, a Universal champion? Maybe. If the cards fall his way, I can see it happening. But right now, he is a mid-card guy who just needs a chance. Now, I think we're going to see a big changing of the guard because, like I said, I think Undisputed Era is getting the call up. So that means they're all losing their titles at TakeOver Tampa Bay, which is what I'm calling it before we have a stupid name for it. Not stupid, but I would have rather called it TakeOver Brooklyn 5 before TakeOver New York. But that's just me. So you have TakeOver Tampa Bay. Cole loses the NXT Championship. In my fantasy booking, it's a triple threat between Cole, Finn Balor, and Tommaso Ciampa. Balor pins Ciampa. No, Balor pins Cole, because Cole's looked super strong to end this year. Cole gets pinned by Balor, protecting Ciampa, and also allowing Cole... Cole can eat the loss. And that allows Cole to move up to the main roster, along with possibly Tommaso Ciampa. I'm still on the fence on if Ciampa gets the call up or not. Again, huge air quotes around call up. That means Fish and O'Reilly are losing the tag team titles. Possibly to Lee and Riddle. Maybe Riddle takes a step back and it's Lee Dijakovic. But that leaves Roddy. Who does Roddy lose the title to? At first, my brain said Dominic Dijakovic, thinking the team would be Ciampa, Lee, Riddle, Dijakovic. But now, with the 4th spot being a huge question mark, Who faces Roddy? Do you put Riddle into the match after he lost the takeover? Yes, you have all of December, January, February, and March. You have 4 months to build Riddle back up. But there's still the fact that maybe, what if Isaiah Scott does something to impress everybody like he has been these past few weeks? What if he does something out of this world, insane, unbelievable, that he goes out there and shows that he should be the next North American champion? There's another takeover-like event happening before the Royal Rumble in Worlds Collide, where, from what I read, it's going to be a tournament where the winner gets a title shot of their choosing. Maybe Swerve wins that. Swerve wins that, challenges Roddy at TakeOver Tampa Bay, and takes the title. You have a star on your hands. Shane Strickland was this guy who was selling out bingo halls, and now he's finally found the main stage. Give this man a chance. He is going to be a star. Is he ever, like I said, is he ever going to rise to main event level stardom? Who really knows? You never know what's going to happen. Look at Kofi Kingston. Kofi went from a mid-card guy to a tag team specialist, a multi-time tag team champion. Mustafa Ali gets hurt. Kofi steps up, and Kofi Mania runs wild. Kofi goes on a multi-month WWE Championship reign, is probably one of the wrestlers of the year, if you ask anybody who's a wrestling fan. And now it's time for Swerve to get that kind of opportunity. Riddle is stepping in for Gargano because Johnny Gargano has a neck injury. I still think it could be a work, and maybe Gargano's revealed to be the fourth man. There's still a scenario where maybe it's Velveteen Dream. We don't exactly know. They haven't. Dream hasn't been really forward with his injuries on social media like Gargano has. And there is still a scenario where John Morrison, John Henning, Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo, Johnny whatever the hell you want to call him, there's still a scenario where he could be the fifth man. Or I keep saying fifth man because I'm thinking Survivor Series. There's a scenario where he could be the fourth man, but I would rather see Swerve get that shot. Let a young up-and-comer who is ready to take an opportunity that's in front of him, run with it, and we see what happens in 2-3 months' time. We could be talking about the next big thing in pro wrestling, and his name very well could be Isaiah Swerve Scott. But that's all I got for this week. Again, I'm trying a new what's the word I want to use? I'm trying a new method for this. Trying to keep them a little shorter. Love to hear what you guys think about it. It's like I said, it's a whole lot of nothing, so I'm trying to grasp at straws and play fantasy booker a little bit here and there. But it's something to get this out to all of you before next week, which is going to be a very heavy predictions one with War Games on Saturday, Survivor Series on Sunday. Big day for pro wrestling there. And then we kind of turn the calendar to the road to the Royal Rumble. And I can tell you right now, I've discussed this ad nauseum with some of my friends and coworkers. Who the hell are the Rumble favorites this year? Who is going to win that match? Because right now, I don't know if you want Roman Reigns to take on The Fiend. Roman is definitely not going back to Raw to challenge Bray Wyatt. Who the hell steps up to challenge Becky Lynch? Because I think Sasha Banks is winning the Royal Rumble, and that's SmackDown's match. You see why I enjoy playing fantasy booker in my head? I also have a headache now, which is great. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. You can follow myself on Twitter at ChurroSolider. Nope, that's wrong. You can follow myself on Twitter at ChurroSoldier. I got to get used to saying that now. You can follow this podcast, the Podcast Armchair. You can follow All Things Combat on Twitter at Things Combat, which is a website that I write for, where we cover professional wrestling, boxing, and MMA. We have a breaking down and predicting World Tag League coming out this weekend. We have show reviews of Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite, and Friday Night SmackDown. We have stuff that we're working on for next year. End of year lists will begin being written in the coming weeks here. I have some time from school coming up here soon, thankfully. So I'll definitely be starting on that. I have my lists ready. I am doing top 10 men's wrestlers of the year, plus honorable mentions. I'm doing top 10 women's wrestlers of the year, plus honorable mentions. I'm doing top 10 tag teams of the year, top 10 comeback years, so wrestlers who had a down year in 2018 that bounced back to have a great year in 2019. And I'm also doing top 5 disappointments. 4 of them were easy to pick. One I'm very sad to have on that list. And we have some other stuff. I know Token's working on a couple end-of-year lists. We have a plan to do WrestleMania reviews. I'll put that out there right now. They will be happening. When is still kind of in the air. We don't know exactly what the release schedule is going to be for that. I have an idea in my head, but I haven't pitched it to the guys yet. We'll see what they say. And you can also follow the Cauldron, where I am the sports editor at CSU Cauldron. We are a bi-weekly publication. We recently went to Washington, D.C. for a convention on journalism. Very fun, very informal, which is why I had to record an episode a week in advance. And I also have an article where I talk to the wrestling head coach and some of the wrestlers for the upcoming season. Always fun to get back to the wrestling room. Sit down and talk with them. Very fun, very enjoyable. Links to that will be in the description below. And also, link to the All Things Combat merch store will be in the description below, where you can buy all things Christmas, sweaters, hoodies, hats, and so much more. You can also still buy All Things Combat stuff. Black Friday is right around the corner, which means Cyber Monday is also right around the corner. Maybe you guys can buy stuff there. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know how Spreadshirt works. I probably should. But anyway, thank you guys, like I said a couple times already, thank you guys so much for listening. If you like what you heard, leave a like. If you really like what you heard, think about hitting subscribe. Goal is 10 subscribers by the end of the year. Help shout this podcast out. Tweet about it. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your great-grandmother that watched Hulk Hogan wrestle in Madison Square Garden once. Who knows? Tell them to subscribe. It would be a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week with predictions for TakeOver War Games and Survivor Series. Hopefully then we have a little clarity on the teams, because I can kind of see NXT waiting till the last minute, since they have War Games the night before, to actually announce their teams. Anyway, that's it for this week, and I will see you guys on the next one.